The pandemic certainly top of mind at the presidential debate on Thursday night with those cases rising nationwide. Tamon Bradley has a recap from Nashville.
President Donald Trump and challenger former Vice President Joe Biden laid out their plans to combat the coronavirus, which has claimed the lives of roughly 223,000 Americans.
We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do.
Anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America.
President Trump argued that even as the virus rages, the economy cannot withstand shutting down businesses. Biden jabbed that the president is trying to wish away the virus.
He says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it.
It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault.
Biden opened an attack on President Trump and reports he's only paid a small amount of federal income taxes in recent years.
You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling? The foreign countries are paying you a lot.
I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do.
President Trump threw punches, raising questions about Biden's son's business dealings overseas.
And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month.
There's a reason why he's bringing up all this malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family.
Differences emerged on health care.
It no longer is Obamacare because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option. It'll become Biden care. The public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled.
All right, that was Tamon Bradley reporting from the debate in Nashville. Let's also talk right now about the other debate this past week between the candidates for governor here in Indiana.
Our number one priority in the state of Indiana is to make sure that we're adequately and appropriately funding our public school system. We are doing that. We need to do more in terms of teacher pay.
It's like giving a sandwich to a starving person. After 15 years, it tastes good, but it certainly doesn't do the job. It doesn't get us back anywhere close to where we need to be.
And we need to make sure that it is funded for them as long as the state constitution says we're providing common schools.
During the debate Tuesday night, Dr. Woody Myers announced he would name current State Superintendent Jennifer McCormick as his Secretary of Education if elected. Another big topic, COVID-19 and masks.
This is a virus, and you can only do what is easiest and best for you to protect yourself. So the reality is the one thing that we do know is that the Constitution is there to protect our individual liberties and make those choices for ourselves.
It's government's job to lead, and if I'm your governor, public safety will always be first. And yes, we do need a real mask mandate in Indiana, a mask mandate with consequences for the small percentage of Hoosiers who choose not to protect themselves or protect others.
Our individual liberty needs to be guarded. When that liberty or those actions start to infringe on someone else, that's where we have to take a look at the public safety. It's just like a seatbelt. It's just like wearing shoes in a restaurant. It's just like fire codes. They're meant for safety procedures. We're in an emergency.
Now, Indiana's mask mandate remains in place through mid-November and likely for the foreseeable future. Contributing editor Adam Wren wrote about the political impact of the pandemic for Politico magazine in this piece called How Anti-Mask Politics Are Scrambling Indiana's Governor's Race. I spoke with him and Dr. Laura Wilson from the University of Indianapolis about this week's debates and the significance of the VP coming to Indiana to campaign with the governor.
I think it's still very much a mystery why Vice President Pence came to Indiana, to Fort Wayne, a little more than a week before the election to campaign. There's been some reporting that it was due to, raise money or as a favor to donors, but I haven't seen any sort of fundraiser advised in the hours before or after the event. So, really, you have to wonder whether it was to shore up the governor's support with conservatives in that part of the state.
The gubernatorial debate, the presidential debate this past week, what stood out to you the most?
Yes, certainly President Trump got the message that interrupting was not the way to go. We saw him be much more restrained in terms of that. In a lot of ways, it was quite a tame debate. You have to wonder, just 11 days out, how many minds this debate changed.
Generally, I thought both candidates did fairly well in terms of their receptions. The prep was evident for the campaigns. They had worked on this, and I think they both of them came off quite well, especially for supporters. You were encouraged. Whoever it was that you liked to begin with, you probably are reaffirmed in that. In terms of moving the needle with voters, though, a really important point, especially with early voting in many states, with absentee and in-person voting, so many things that are going on. So many people have already voted.
The gubernatorial debate, I was shocked, quite frankly, that there weren't more questions about the pandemic. If ever there was a moment in the life of an average Hoosier where government mattered, whether it was getting unemployment money or whether it's getting help in terms of the COVID response, we just didn't really get much into that.
All right, our thanks to Adam and to Laura. Today, we're also talking about the hotly contested race for Congress in the 5th District. No doubt you've seen all the ads on TV, which means a lot of outside funding in this race. We asked the candidates and Dr. Laura about the impact of all that outside money. Here's Kayla Sullivan with a closer look.
The race for Indiana's 5th congressional district is getting national attention because it's competitive and could impact the overall balance of the U.S. House.
It's not particularly unusual to see campaign contributors from other places in the country that recognize an important race.
So donors are contributing lots of money. Campaign documents show so far Democrat Christina Hale and Republican Victoria Spartz have both raised well over $1 million, and both are adamant those contributions won't impact their actions in Congress.
I think it's important that the voters pay attention to not to the party, but to actually to the person and results. And what is a proven record?
Proud to be endorsed by End Citizens United, which is a group dedicated to getting this big dark money out of politics.
However, Libertarian candidate Ken Tucker says that questioning is the very reason he has refused to fundraise, even if money is offered to his campaign.
I think in the other sense, it's kind of empowering to be just me, and that's all I've asked from people is to get to know me.
And despite the millions being raised in this race, political science professor Laura Wilson says Hoosiers shouldn't be worried.
I do think we should be concerned if an overwhelming amount of funding, if a majority of it was coming from outside the state, but that's not the case in terms of this race.
She recommends people don't focus on the money when it comes time to vote.
You should look at the candidate, at what they stand for.
From the Indiana State House, I'm Kayla Sullivan.
All right, we'll have more of those interviews on our In Focus 2020 election preview tomorrow night at 7:30 on Fox 59. Also tomorrow, another big moment for Indiana as we're expecting the Senate confirmation vote for Judge Amy Coney Barrett of South Bend. Both of Indiana's senators saying they will vote to confirm Barrett to the Supreme Court. We'll have coverage for you right here tomorrow. Coming up next this Sunday in Focus, we'll look at the latest numbers in the race for president and at the all-important Electoral College map as our panel talks about the impact the Midwest will play in this year's election.